agrees with him. Joining us now is former White House Deputy Chief of Staff and Fox News contributor Karl Rove. Also joining the discussion right here on set is former New York City Mayor Rudy Giuliani. Good to see you both, sir. Thank you so much for joining us. Karl, let's kick it off with you here. I want to get your take on the recent comments from Donald Trump, who claimed that President Obama and Hillary have ruined our foreign policy with their inability to get along with anybody. Your thoughts on Mr. Trump's comments?
Well, I think that there is some wisdom in that President Obama and Secretary Clinton have not worked hard at this problem. The president has little or no personal relationships with leaders around the globe. They don't trust him. Even those that are our allies don't tend to trust him. And Secretary Clinton, while she put in a lot of miles, didn't seem to put in a lot of effort in building a strong relationship with our allies or in dealing with our adversaries like Russia. So I'm not certain I'm completely in sync with where Mr. Obama, where Mr. Trump is coming, but I do think there's a fundamental weakness in how this president has personally conducted his foreign policy, and we see the results around the globe.
Yeah, I want to ask you about your column also, the 57% of Americans who just do not trust Mrs. Clinton. But first, Rudy Giuliani, it feels like things have gotten worse for Hillary Clinton. Yesterday, Judge Napolitano was on the show. He called it grave. What happened in the last week?
Well, I mean, there's no question that Hillary Clinton is now in a posture where she needs a criminal lawyer. And, you know, I'm mostly known as a prosecutor, but I do the other stuff for a living. And there's no question she does. I mean, she's on the face of it, there are possible violations of the conflict of interest laws, the national security laws, as well as a possible bribery statute. That amount of, you have two columns. All the money going to the Clinton Foundation, which is the Clinton slush fund a prosecutor would maintain, and a bill, you know, $1.2 million speaking fee, UBS. You got about 8 of those situations. So if I'm a prosecutor, I do a chart. All the stuff going to the Clintons adds up to $100 million. All the benefits she gave to the people, the companies, and the countries that gave that money to Clinton, there are about 10 of those. Now, if there's no connection between the two, we have a violation of the conflict of interest statute, which carries a 2-year penalty and a disbarment for public office for the rest of your life. Because she should have known. It's a she should have known statute. Now, if I can show one connection between the two, it goes to a 15-year bribery count. And former Attorney General Mukasey and I, who were law partners and partners in the U.S. Attorney's Office, prosecuted and put in jail a congressman named Congressman Bertram Podell for doing exactly that, except it was only $42,000. His law firm got fees. He got a route for an airline. There was one connection. All of a sudden, out of office, in jail, and actually Chuck Schumer became his successor.
Wow, that is extraordinary. Okay. So, yeah, go ahead.
No,
Dagen.
Karl, to what Rudy was talking about and your column today in the Wall Street Journal about Hillary plays dirty as her numbers drop. This is a very unusual posture for a politician to be facing this laundry list of problems with the FBI going in and now has her server, but her tone and her attacks, they get worse. It doesn't make any sense if you're a politician, does it?
Yeah, well, I think she sees dropping numbers. She wants to go on the offense against somebody, and she realizes in order to do that, she's got to ratchet up the rhetoric. She went after, for example, she tweeted out a message saying the Republicans have been, quote, systematically trying to stop millions from voting. This was a comment on the Republican support for voter ID proposals. She then went after by name a series of Republican governors who are running for president: Bush, Christie, Kasich, and others, Walker, saying they were trying to disenfranchise young people from voting. These are things that are over the top, and I think they're driven by her dropping numbers.
Karl, this is Rudy. I just wanted to ask you a question.
Yes, sir, Mayor.
How are you? So all of a sudden, all of this information is coming out, and it has to be coming out of Justice Department, White House, FBI. Do you agree with me that maybe President Obama, Valerie Jarrett, and Mrs. Obama don't want Mrs. Clinton?
Well, I don't know, but she certainly got to have a lot of people in the administration who are settling old scores, whether it's at the State Department or the Justice Department or at the White House. To me, this is just an amazing situation. One question we've never asked and never got answered is, did Hillary Clinton seek the guidance of the General Counsel's office at the Department of State before she went off and systematically violated the rules of the department and the laws of the country and put herself in a position where she was receiving top secret information over an unsecured network? I cannot believe that she ever asked anybody in a position of legal authority at the State Departments, can I do this? And instead, she went off on her own, I think for her own reasons that we don't fully yet understand, and put herself in this situation. But it's stupidity beyond belief to put herself in this position.
Yeah, but I think the mayor is bringing up an important point, because yesterday we learned that there are 3 classifications for communications out of the government. There is secret, there is top secret, and there is confidential. Well, it would be confidential, secret, and top secret is the highest. and a couple of emails, as we know, had top secret on them. How would we know that, Mr. Mayor? Those classifications are not known to everybody.
The first thing that should be made clear, because Hillary would be doing it in a minute, none of this is coming from Republicans because we don't have the information.
Right. So
this is all coming
Obama,
out
Valerie,
of the
and Michelle.
Obama administration. It is coming out of the Obama. They are leaking. But by the way, leaking is illegal. So they're leaking, and they're leaking because they want to hurt her, which tells me they are not doing this unless somebody at the top is saying, please, it's okay, because for 4 weeks, 5 weeks, they've had this information, and they haven't done it. Somebody has given a blessing.
Mr. Mayor, a lot of this has to do with the Clinton Foundation. How long until President Bill Clinton
let me investigate that foundation?
Why aren't you investigating?
I'd love to investigate that foundation. Get me appointed to investigate that foundation.
Carl, before you go, real quick, who do you think will be the candidates? What's your take at this early stage? On both sides.
Well, I think even with all of the troubles that Hillary Clinton has got, my sense is that ultimately she staggers across the line, but she will be damaged good. She already is damaged good. Look, they've got a prospective nominee who has 57% of the American people saying they don't find her trustworthy and honest at this point, and it's only going to get worse. Her saving grace is that President Obama has wiped out the bench for the Democrats. They have nobody of real significance. Martin O'Malley, Bernie Sanders, even Joe Biden, these are not necessarily first-tier candidates, and that, I think, at the end of the day, is ultimately what saves her.
Could it be possible that the server really is wiped clean? I mean, you do a lot of cybersecurity.
How about
an email has never gone forever.
Actually said that. He said in March that there was no State Department information.
All of my experience is that you can find it. No question about it. I think I could recommend 2 or 3 experts who would know how to find it. I've done it in my private security work.
I know you have. Yeah.
And second, I want you to understand that destruction of that, in and of itself, is evidence of guilt in a criminal trial. That I have argued in numerous criminal trials, when you destroy evidence, that is evidence of guilt, and the judge is required to charge the jury that they can use that to show that you have criminal intent, even if you don't show a connection in the bribery. The mere destruction of evidence. Well, we didn't mention obstruction of justice, by the way. There was an investigation going on when she destroyed that. That is a clear violation of the obstruction of justice statute and the new one that she voted for as a senator.
Unbelievable. And you think people understand that, Carl? Real quick, we got to jump.
Oh, absolutely, and that's why it's going to get worse as more of these details come out. That's why last night the Clinton campaign sent out an email to all of its supporters from Jennifer Palmieri saying, "Don't worry about it. Just ignore what you see, ignore what you hear. This is old news. Don't worry about it." But it's big, fresh news, and it's going to cause her problems for months and months and months.
Nothing takes place in a vacuum. The Clinton campaign acts like we're not predisposed to distrust, but we are as a nation because of what's gone on since the early 90s.
Karl Rove, thank you so much, sir. We appreciate your time this morning.
You bet.
We'll see you soon. Mayor Giuliani, please stick around. Lots more to come.